on giving his testimony. Well, somebody who's been watching all of this unfold since the beginning of his testimony is our senior reporter, Mzwandile Mbeje, who's there to give us how he saw it today. Mzwa, thanks very much indeed. And like I said yesterday, this is the story that just keeps on giving.
You know, Peter, it's quite interesting, you know, when you sit through listening to all the evidence that is being given. Sometimes you do get a sense, and I'm not joking, that perhaps this thing was, they were running a criminal record, because just about everything that was being done was illegal. Most of the things, the kind of conniving, the kind of planning, the kind of buying people, it's quite astonishing, Peter. And today, the Department of Correctional Services was really at the center of what the allegations Mr. Agrizzi was talking about the former commissioner of the correctional services at that department. So you really get a sense that there was no commitment to do the real work in a proper way, other than to push corruption, bribes, and all those things, Peter.
All right, so again, names dropped, and an attorney might be in trouble in today's testimony. The Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice, was quite careful to say, please be careful about what you're testifying, because this might have consequences for this attorney.
Absolutely. You know, when it comes to people that are trusted, people like attorneys, these are people who represent, in the main, people who really are needy, people who want assistance. But if those people can be manipulated, so you are basically manipulating the whole system. But I guess it's not shocking to hear such evidence from this man here, Mr. Agrizzi, who, by the way, in a number of events or in a number of things that he's saying, he's also implicating himself. So you can see that from what he is saying, and perhaps other than Gavin Watson, who is the CEO of Bosasa, this was another kingpin in engineering all that was happening. When you hear, Peter, people talk about creating front companies because they want all the tenders to come to them, trying to design things to serve their purpose by people who are influential, even if people are out of work. So because of their influence, they are still kept in the payroll. You heard how Linda Mti was basically part of the whole thing. So another interesting thing, Peter, which I really found here, Mr. Agrizzi has been saying all along that Mr. Watson has been very, very careful to signing anything, because he says he doesn't want anything that will incriminate him. But I found quite interesting that when it came to the agreement between himself, that is Gavin Watson, and Linda Mti, there was some sort of agreement to basically say Correctional Department will then favor Bosasa in the awarding of tenders. So these are all things that we are hearing about. Sometimes there are contradictions, there are questions, but of course this will become very interesting, Peter, when those implicated, if they decide to approach this commission and put their own versions themselves, and then can cross-examine some of the evidence that is coming out here. I think that's why time and again the judge will then caution Mr. Agrizzi to say whatever you are saying, you must be very sure, because he is aware that some of the small discrepancies that can come up, and then some of those implicated will basically use that.
All right. Mzwandile Mbeje, we're going to leave it there for the time being. I'm sure that you're going to be giving us another update during the full view a little bit later on. Thanks very much indeed for now. So that's Mzwandile Mbeje, who's at the state capture inquiry, and again, shocking evidence being given. You hear stories of fake crashes of computers, and even being destroyed with petrol and being burnt. You know, you can't make this stuff up.